screensaver keeps coming on. God damn it. They slept in the garçonnière, which is this door here that leads to the attic, which is really creepy and full of cobwebs and all kinds of stuff. Or they slept in the petite maison, the guest house. And then this is the kitchen. That is the kitchen. So we'll take a look at the kitchen next. I'm gonna make this one long clip so that way I don't have to break it up. And my computer has been giving me an ass load of trouble. I fucking hate this stuff, alright? If Bill Gates ever takes this motherfucking tour, I swear to God, you and I gotta talk. That's a palm, big old sago palm, so I'm gonna put there as artwork, little decoration there. There's a dinner bell. Okay. Here's the kitchen. It's kind of small. I don't know if you can see, but it's kind of small. Probably would have been really hot. It's a recreation as well. An actual kitchen, like I said, would have been much, much, much further away on a plantation. Slaves, or black people in America today, all come from mostly Western Africa. I'm reading about it right now, but it's mostly Senegal, Gambia, Ghana, Nigeria, West Africa, Sierra Leone, Mali, West Africa. I'm working on my African geography as we speak. So, but they were indigenous cultures that were taken. So we had an African culture. So we have African cultures here, indigenous African culture here. Gourds turned to bowls. They probably wouldn't have grown loofah there. I'm not sure, but this is one thing they used here was loofah. So you pull the seeds out and you use it to scrub pots and pans. Like loofahs you buy in the store today in Walmart, different colors. It's actually a plant. It's like an organic plant. You can see this is a sausage stuffer or boudin stuffer. Boudin is this like stuffing put into like a sausage casing. It's the thing that we eat down here in Louisiana. It's fucking delicious. So if you should definitely try it. B-O-U-D-I-N, boudin. It's wonderful. Bunch of utensils that could have been made on the plantation. Big ass frying pan. Bottles. Like I said, alcohol was a very important part of Southern culture. It still is today. People here drink. This here is a corn shuck broom. Replace it when you need to. No synthetic fibers in those days or mass-produced brooms. Food pantry, or the garde-manger en français. The food pantry has watermarks on the legs because they put them in cups of water to keep the ants from running up and getting the food. Very smart people. And there's even, now this thing weighs a ton, okay, it's solid iron. Ugh. There's a pan here, a cornbread pan. It's actually in the shape of little pieces, like little rows of corn, ears of corn. Check that out. It's solid iron too, so it's very heavy. I'm required to clean this place too, but I've been neglecting the kitchen. But I'm working on it. And this here is a pilon, or a mortar and pestle in English. You grind your rice or your corn in there. You grind corn in there. Solid chunk of cypress wood. And people in this area, well, when you use the pilon, you pile something. And so people in this area often say to the little kids when they disobey, they say, "I'm gonna pile you," and it comes from that. So, but no one here knows what that means because no one here has ever seen a pilon before. So, okay, this is the petite maison. Okay, not very intricate. Has all the amenities of the house though. These are for the guests who would have come to visit. What was I gonna say? It would have taken a week to get from here to New Orleans in those days as well. So people needed a place to stay. So there's a chest there and a table and a prie-dieu, fireplace, saddle. And this is a rope bed. I have to angle this with my computer is very heavy. You can see it though, it's a rope bed. bed spring made out of rope. It tightens with the key, and it's where we get the phrase "sleep tight." It comes from rope beds. Also, if you didn't like who was staying here, you could loosen the bed, so that way it would the bed would cave in, and they would get the hint that it's time for them to leave. People here have this strange sort of politeness thing too, or at least the aristocracy does anyway. They have this strange sort of southern politeness thing about it. And this is the blacksmith shop. Let's see. Here we go. Okay. Here is where all the nails and horseshoes and things are made. This is a recreation as well. Slaves did all the blacksmithing. The slave who did the blacksmithing was usually worth more than the other slaves were. I don't know if he was necessarily treated nicer or given any of that money. We do have a few examples of a few black slaves who managed to buy their way out of slavery, but not many. That bellows right there in the corner, that came with the house. Very old, very large. Some very strong person had to maneuver those things. This whole thing is really hard work too. The blacksmithing seems like really, really hard work. I met a guy who did this on some level, and he told me that to use this thing, he has to melt the iron to 1,000 degrees and then pour it out with a ladle and scoop it into molds. And every time he did it, it would splash out and land on his face and hands and things. And this is like a guy who's in his, I don't know, 70s or 80s. So, imagine what somebody in the 1800s had to put up with. There's also 4 doors here as well. Because it would have been very hot doing this work as well. So, ventilation, that's something for ventilation. And I didn't